Hello, my friends, and welcome to Genealogy Gems podcast episode number 303. We're recording in January of 2026. We have lots to cover today. We're going to be talking about the top 7 genealogy mistakes that keep you stuck. But don't worry, because we're also going to talk about the solutions. These are really the kinds of things you wish somebody had told you when you first started doing genealogy research. So we're going to dig into those, talk about solutions. I'm really interested to hear what some of the mistakes are that you wish that somebody had told you about so that you could avoid them before you started your research. You can do that in the comments. And then following that, we are going to do just a kind of a quick rundown of the latest from Family Search. They have published their plans for 2026. And so we're going to run through those and talk about what to keep an eye out for and which ones we think look promising. So lots of great stuff to cover today. First off, let's jump into our 7 genealogy mistakes that just keep you stuck right after this. It's a brand new year, and maybe you've made a resolution to finally break through those brick walls in your family tree. But census records can only take you so far. This year, take your research from dates and locations to full life stories. With newspapers.com, you can gain access to over 1 billion pages of historical newspapers, giving you a fresh perspective on your ancestors' lives. Discover the stories that only a local newspaper could tell. Imagine finding an obituary that names every surviving family member, or an article about your great-grandfather's championship bowling league. You might even find a photograph that you've never seen before. These clippings are the personal, everyday details that truly bring your family history to life. Newspapers.com is easy to search by name and location, connecting you directly to your family's stories. So make this the year you fill in the gaps. Visit newspapers.com/genealogygems today for 20% off a subscription. That's newspapers.com/genealogygems. If you've ever sat down for a genealogy research session, full of excitement, ready to make some big discoveries, and then hours later, you're staring at the same screen, frustrated with that nagging brick wall still standing tall, well, you are definitely not alone. I've been there myself more times than I can count. And after helping thousands of genealogists just like you, I've seen the same pattern over and over. So today, I am going to share the 7 most common genealogy mistakes that keep us stuck. Mistakes that even experienced genealogy researchers make. I've made every single one of these in my career, and learning to avoid them has been a game changer for my own research. We're counting down from number 7 to the biggest one, so stick around to the end because mistake number 1 is the one that trips up almost everyone, and fixing it can transform your results almost overnight. All right, let's just jump in. Starting with number 7, chasing every shiny hint without any real focus. You know exactly how this happens. You log into Ancestry or Family Search, and suddenly those little leaves are showing up, or record hints are blinking at you, and they're saying, pick me, pick me. The next thing you know, you've clicked on 10 of them. And 3 hours later, you're deep into somebody else's family tree in a completely different county or even a different country. I know it feels like you're being productive because you're really busy. But in reality, you're scattering your energy everywhere. Those hints can be helpful, but without a clear direction, they often just lead you down a rabbit hole. And honestly, the work you do doesn't feel as satisfying, I don't think. So processing some random scattered hints doesn't lead you to a feeling of really getting to know your family better and the stories, because the process is so fragmented. So next time, rather than going directly to the hints, take just a moment and decide what you want to know and work on that. That way, the hints won't be directing your efforts, you will. Mistake number 6 is ignoring name variations and alternate spellings. Now, our ancestors often didn't have standardized spellings of their surnames. We all know that. And the clerks who wrote down their names certainly didn't worry about being consistent. A name like Schmidt could easily be Smith, or Kolowski could turn into Kowalski. It all depends on who is giving the information and who is recording the information. So if you're locking yourself into only one spelling, the one that you're most familiar with, you might scroll right past the exact record that you've been looking for. It's hiding in plain sight under a variation that you never thought to try. Well, here's a solution. Before you launch into your next research session, make a list of all the variations of the surname. Even better would be to do this on a timeline. For instance, in my family, the Burkett surname started out as Burkhart. And over the centuries, it ended up as Burkett. So depending on the time frame that I'm researching, I have a better idea of the more likely spelling I might come across while keeping all the possibilities on the table. Having a little reference guide is very handy and it's a big help. Mistake number 5, forgetting to research the fan club. These are your ancestors' friends, associates, neighbors. Your great-great-grandparents didn't live in isolation. They had neighbors on the census, friends who witnessed deeds or marriages, associates at church and in military units. These friends, associates, and neighbors are their fan club. And those people often hold key clues because their records mention your ancestors' participation in the event. If you stop when you hit a dead end and you forget to look at the people around your ancestor, you're possibly going to miss that one path going forward. Some of my toughest brick walls crumbled not because I found a new record from my direct ancestor. In fact, in many cases, the records kind of just seemed to dry out. But it was because I followed a neighbor or a witness and I discovered my ancestors in one of their records. And that connection was what kind of tied everything together. For example, maybe it seems like you've just run out of records to find your ancestor and you don't know if they just died or they moved away or something else happened. You run out of places to look. Well, that is a great time to look a little deeper into their fan club. By researching your ancestor's closest friend, you might locate their obituary in some old newspaper, and lo and behold, there is your ancestor listed as a pallbearer. Now you know he's still alive at that time, and maybe he's living close by. The fan club principle really is one of the most powerful tools that we have as genealogists. It's kind of cluster research in action. Mistake number 4 is relying solely on indexed searchable online records. Now, don't get me wrong. Indexes on websites like Ancestry and Family Search are incredible time savers, but they're created by humans or sometimes by AI, and mistakes can happen. Plus, millions of records are still only available as browse-only images. Yes, they are digitized, but you have to review them page by page because there's no index. And many records aren't even digitized. They're offline. They're in courthouses or archives or church basements. Probate packets, land deeds, local newspapers, unindexed court records, these are often the gold mines for breaking through a brick wall. If you limit yourself to what pops up in a keyword search, you are missing some of the richest evidence out there. The good news is that AI is making huge strides in making previously unindexed records searchable. Over at FamilySearch.org, they've implemented full text search with the help of AI, and it has been leading a lot of researchers directly to information that previously would have required hundreds of hours of scrolling image by image. Even then, there's still more records across other websites that don't have that capability. And of course, there's offline records in archives that remain hidden. You can learn more about Family Search's full text search in my video. It's called Find Millions of Genealogy Records with Family Search's full text search. So, after you exhaust searching for your people by name, the solution here is to shift gears from names to record collections. Start looking for the records that you think could contain information about your ancestor, even though their names are not indexed or the records aren't currently online. This switch from names to record collections, it can open up the floodgates. So once you have an idea of the kind of records you want, you could skip the search box on your favorite website and go to their catalog. This is where you can find all the available record collections that they have, whether or not they are indexed, and they're by topic, location, and keywords. You're going to see a lot of potential records, and you might wonder, why didn't this come up in my search? Well, it's because searching with the search box can't bring up records where your ancestor's name isn't indexed. And those hints that we talked about, they only hint on a small percentage of records that actually exist on the website. Mistake number 3 is accepting secondary information as fact. So let's say that you find a detail in an online family tree. Okay, maybe it's a birth date or its parents' names, and it's been copied across dozens of trees. It feels sort of like a solid lead because so many people have it. But often those trees are just copying from each other, sometimes from an original guess or a misread or flat out incorrect record. So think of it this way. Popularity doesn't equal accuracy. If your goal is accurate genealogy, then the genealogical proof standard, which is known as the GPS, should really be your guiding light. And the GPS advocates for reasonably exhaustive research and reliance on original or strong derivative sources. So this means that we need to always trace the information back to the original source whenever possible. Now, I said that secondary information should not be accepted as fact. So what is secondary information? Well, there are 2 main types of sources, primary and secondary. And you've got to know and be able to spot the difference. Primary sources are original material from the time period or about the event. The information on it is coming from someone with firsthand knowledge. They were there. So examples of primary records can include diaries, letters, interviews, photographs, or the name of a baby provided by his mother. Secondary information is coming from someone who might not have been there at the time the event occurred, and the information may have been collected well after the event. An example of secondary information could include biographies and newspaper articles. And some records actually provide both primary and secondary information, and that's really important to keep in mind. For example, the person providing the information for a death certificate might be the grandchild. If they witnessed their grandparents passing, then that witness information is primary. But if they provide their grandparents' birth date and place of birth, that information is definitely secondary because they weren't there when their grandparent was born. And they may have been told about that information many years ago. We can't just hope that their memory was good. So take the time to really get familiar with the difference between primary and secondary sources and use that to scrutinize the records you're looking at. Get in the habit of making note about whether a record or information is primary or secondary as you're adding that information to your trees. If it's secondary, get out there and try and find a primary source to back it up. All right, we're at mistake number 2, and that is not documenting your sources properly as you go along. So you're excited. You find a census record that lists your ancestor's birthplace or occupation. You quickly add it to your tree and you move on. Well, then months or years later, somebody challenges you about that, or you find something that doesn't quite line up with it. So you look back at your tree and you think, oh, wait a minute, where did I get that information from? Suddenly you're doubting your own research and you have to redo what you already did. Good source citations from the start save enormous amounts of time. I can attest to that. A source citation makes note of when and where you found the information. It should include enough detail to be able to put your hands on that record again. There are even more compelling reasons to cite your sources. One is that when you hit a brick wall, That's the time to carefully comb through the records that you've already found to see if you missed something or if you made a mistake. We have to remember that we really are more experienced now than the first time we looked at those records. With a second look, we might catch something we missed. And the second reason is so that we can pass our genealogy on to future generations in a way that they can have confidence that it's correct. If you're new to citing your sources, be sure to check out my video on source citations. Okay, right after this, I'm going to have for you not only the number one mistake that keeps genealogists stuck, but I'm also going to share with you one of my personal biggest mistakes. But first, I want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by archives.com. They are the trusted destination for anyone eager to explore their family history. Archives.com offers access to millions of historical records, from birth and marriage certificates to census data, military records, and more, giving you the tools to dive into your genealogy with confidence. Their platform is designed to be user-friendly, making it easy for beginners and seasoned researchers alike to navigate through vast collections of documents. Behind the simple search interface, powerful technology works tirelessly to deliver accurate, relevant results, helping you uncover stories that have been waiting to be told for generations. Whether you're hoping to find long-lost relatives, confirm family stories, or trace your roots back many decades, Archives.com offers a cost-effective way to make genealogy research enjoyable and rewarding. So don't let your family history stay hidden. Visit Archives.com today and start your journey of discovery. Your family's past is just a few clicks away, so visit Archives.com. And now, the number one mistake that keeps genealogists stuck. This is the one that really encompasses all the others we've talked about, and that's researching without a strategic genealogy research plan or even a specific research question. This is the biggie, my friends. When you just sit down and you start looking around, hoping something's going to jump out at you, you can end up wasting hours duplicating searches, missing the most relevant records, and building family trees that sort of feel shaky. Without a targeted question, something like, what was the maiden name of Mary, wife of John Smith, married about 1855 in Ohio? And a step-by-step plan to answer that question, our research just stays scattered and inefficient. But when we have a focused question and a strategic plan, everything changes. We know exactly what we want to find, what we already know, which is important, which records to prioritize, and how to analyze conflicts when they show up, because they're going to show up, and when we've actually answered the question. The most effective way to stop aimlessly searching and start making consistent breakthroughs is by creating a research plan. That's what the professionals do. It doesn't have to be complicated or take hours and hours. In fact, I think that's really what keeps most people from doing it. They think it's going to take too long, or they aren't sure how to structure it. I hear from you guys. I get your emails, I get your comments, and a lot of times when you tell me about a brick wall that you've hit, in reality, I don't find a specific question in there. So I'll email back and say, but what specifically are you trying to find? And I get it, because you've been looking at everything and it gets kind of overwhelming. But it really is important to focus in and figure out what exactly you're trying to answer and then have a plan. I do sympathize with the feeling that putting a plan together is going to take too much time. It actually kept me from doing it for years, and I wasn't totally sure what a plan should encompass. I had heard people talk about the need to do it, but they never actually say this step-by-step how you do it. I tried finding some sort of template online that I could use because I really didn't want to reinvent the wheel. But since I didn't find one, I did do a bunch of research on what makes a great, effective research plan. I wrote down the steps and I created my own template. And I've got to tell you, it has been a game changer over the years in my own research. So when I'm faced with a new challenge, I just grab the template, I fill in the blanks, and I'm on my way actually finding things again. You know, recently I took an online class. Some of you know that I play piano, and I really wanted to learn how to play boogie woogie 12-bar blues. It seemed so daunting. It's so out of my comfort zone. But a lot of the folks in our neighborhood who get together and play music, they love playing the blues. So I needed to get on board. So I have an online piano course that I subscribe to, and the online teacher put out a new course. They taught the course in just 10 minutes a day. So I thought, okay, I could commit to that. I would watch and work along with the 10-minute video. And you know what? By the end of the week, I was playing boogie woogie. I was absolutely amazed. Everyone has 10 minutes a day. And I got to tell you, a week is going to go by either way. So why not have accomplished your goal by the end of it? So I decided that this would be a great way to help all of you kind of take on this challenge of creating great research questions and research plans. So I took the work that I've done for myself and I created a short course. It's called Create a Genealogy Research Plan in 10 minutes a day. It's 5 quick, focused lessons that walk you through the entire process. And it includes my downloadable research plan template. It's very comprehensive. It's the same one that I use myself. Now, I know that many of you watching are also Genealogy Gems premium members over at our website, genealogygems.com. And if you are, this is the good news. This course is yours right now. Just go to genealogygems.com and click courses in the menu. The course has a retail value of $99, but you get it as a benefit of your membership, which is half the price for the full year. If you're not a premium member and you're tired of hitting the same brick walls and you're ready to kind of feel more confident and excited about your research again, I'd love to have you join us and take advantage of the course and the template by becoming a member. You'll find the link down in the description and pinned in the comments section. You really do need a research roadmap, and this is it. All right, that's your 7 areas where you can really make improvements this year. Do you have another mistake that you wished someone had told you to avoid early on in your genealogy research? I'm sure some of you do. I definitely want to hear your story, so please leave a comment and let us all know. And I know you hear this all the time, but one of the ways that you can help me keep creating free content like this on YouTube is to leave comments and likes. Otherwise, YouTube just sends my videos into nowhere land where nobody sees them. You actually have a lot of power to help other genealogists and me by engaging here at the end of the video. So thank you very much for being my partner in doing that here at Genealogy Gems. And no, I didn't forget. I promised you one of my personal biggest mistakes. Look, when you get to be my age, you have a lot to choose from, unfortunately. But here's one from the archives. The crowning glory of the 1980s was the hairstyles. Think perm. Think big. Think yikes. Head to the show notes page to see a photograph of me from the early 1980s with my big 80s hair. Yeah, I think that perm kind of made me look like I have a mushroom on my head. Yeah, it's a good thing that genealogy mistakes are easier to fix than 1980s fashion regrets. Today's episode is sponsored by MyHeritage, a global discovery platform enjoyed by 110 million people worldwide. MyHeritage has it all and offers a full-service experience that bridges your past, present, and future. The MyHeritage DNA Kit reveals your ethnic origins and finds your new relatives based on shared DNA. It's popular all over the world, and their constantly growing DNA database means that more matches to new relatives are just around the corner. You'll receive a percentage breakdown of your ethnic origins from 42 supported regions and weekly email updates as new DNA matches are found. It's also the leading DNA service for anyone with European origins. Make the most of your DNA results with a MyHeritage subscription and access advanced tools for genetic genealogy, like the theory of family relativity, autoclusters, shared ancestral places, and much more. Order your kit today at myheritage.com/DNA. Already taken a DNA test with another service? Upload your DNA data to MyHeritage for free to receive DNA matches and access new discoveries. That's myheritage.com/DNA. Family Search just announced what they have planned for this new year of 2026. And I just wanted to go through their announcement and let's see what we can find that might be a game changer for you in the new year. All right, so here at the Family Search blog, what to expect from Family Search in 2026. And we always love to see when they lead with more access to genealogy records. I mean, sometimes that feels like that's really what's going to make the difference is we need to get our hands on records that were previously unavailable. And they are not going to disappoint, it doesn't sound like. It says here that in 2026, Family Search plans to expand its global collections and significantly increase access to records for many countries, including the countries of Belgium, Cameroon, Malawi, South Korea, and Uruguay. And the thing to remember here is that those might be kind of target areas where bulks of records are going to come from, but typically they always have a smattering of records from around the world and here in the US for sure. So take a look. I would put it on your calendar like maybe once a quarter to just go back and check over at Family Search and see if that record that you've been waiting for has been released. And one of the ways that they're going to be making records even easier and easier to find is through artificial intelligence. Last year, they launched and incorporated into the main site the full text search. And here it says on the announcement, full text search, making hard to find documents searchable at a faster pace. Oh, I like that. So it says AI continues to tremendously impact family discoveries. Certainly it has. And go check out my video about full text search if you haven't already. It says here, people who try the free service are discovering more and more records and breakthroughs. And the reason for this is that in the past, if records were digitized, they had to get in a queue to be indexed. And the indexing is what makes them findable when you're using the search boxes on these websites. So until they get indexed, it's really about browsing. And you have to find the right record collection and then just go page by page and browse through it. It's almost impossible, right, to devote that kind of time to record collections. But now AI is powering full text search, which can kind of take the place of this. It can go in and find those individual names mentioned in records, particularly records that may not be about that person. In other words, your ancestor is getting named in a record, but the record is about, Joe Smith. So Joe Smith is the index name, but that record includes all kinds of other people, perhaps in a probate record, who were named in a will. Well, now full text search can find these, and that's why it's such a game changer. People are discovering records that their ancestors are being named in that they never came across before or never even thought to look in before. So it sounds like they're going to be speeding that up. They've already integrated it into the main search, so be looking for definite improvements in that area. That's exciting. I like that. Now, this next item is assistance with family discoveries. It says here, family search site visitors, and I think they're talking about website visitors. They probably should have clarified this because you can go in person. You can go to a family search library or family search center around the country to do research. I think they're talking about the website, and they're saying that you're going to have access to a variety of enhanced tools to assist you in your quest for family connections and information. So they have information scattered in a lot of different areas. They have the Family Search Wiki, the blog, and help content. So the interactive chatbot is going to be able to search through all of these and provide you even quicker answers as you are navigating the website. So I would recommend take advantage of that, particularly if you're not finding something. Why not go ahead and ask it more specific questions? Exciting new tree features. The Family Search Family Tree will focus on data quality and collaboration in 2026. I like that. Now, we know it's a collaborative tree because it is a global tree versus on a site like Ancestry or MyHeritage, you're going to have your own family tree. But on Family Search, you are building a tree along with everybody else who's using it and kind of connecting your family lines into it. Well, it says the popular free community tree will enhance contributors' abilities to accurately merge the best of each user's contributions. Participants will also receive suggestions to improve the quality of the content they've personally added to the tree and will receive alerts before making edits that seem to decrease the quality of existing information. There you go. Those people out there who are adding junk, and I'm sorry, there are some, they're at least going to get some alerts that tell them, you're not quite right. Go check this. In addition to the suggestion of potential parents and spouses at the end of family lines, which Family Search AI began introducing at the end of 2025, look for more in-context AI assistance to improve the data quality of the Family Search tree. I think everybody can get behind this, because when you've got other people working on the same tree, you have a wide range of experience and expertise and, shall I say, intelligence? Did I say that? Okay. Well, sometimes we see stuff and we think, what were they thinking? I think they're aware of that too at Family Search, and hopefully they're going to have some things in place to improve that or at least alert people that they're maybe not on the right track. And they did say that the Family Tree app search function was updated at the end of 2025 to provide a unified experience enabling mobile users to simultaneously search for family tree profiles, historical records, and memories within the app. So in 2026, updates will make it easier for new users to get started with the app and navigate to the most frequently used features. So I know sometimes you open an app and you think, wait a minute, where's the button that I always use? You like to think that these improvements are always for our benefit. It sounds like that's what they're going to be focusing on. They have all the data on what people use and what they don't use. So if you see things moving, maybe you're going to notice that what you use more often will be more prominent as you get into the mobile app. And of course, Roots Tech 2026 is coming up. That has been all over the news. And Family Search Labs, this is an area that I love. I love seeing what's coming down the pipeline in terms of the technology. It says Family Search Labs gives you the opportunity to experiment with what's new and upcoming before experiences are completely launched. This participation helps provide user feedback to developers, and some new experiences and features coming in 2026 are already available in the Family Search Labs for testing. So go check them out. And how do we get to the Family Search Labs? Well, we head to Family Search. Let me go back up here. And you have to be, of course, signed in to get there. Once you get to the home page, I think the easiest way to get to the labs is to scroll down just a little bit, and you'll find it in the right-hand column, at least right now. Family Search Labs, click the View Experiments button, and here you'll see available experiments. So a couple of the ones that we're seeing here, try simple search billions of full text images using everyday phrases, no search form required. They are really moving along the way all these other AI chatbots are functioning now. It's really not about entering the name, entering the birth date, that kind of thing, but you're going to be more conversational, even more so with AI. They have here under Maps, Improved England Jurisdictions, 1851. Explore where your English ancestors lived and where to find more records. Oh, well, I'm going to enjoy doing that for my husband's research, for Bill, because his grandfather came from England, and that could be very helpful. We have here Family Tree released Grow Your Tree with AI Research Assistant. Now, we did a video here at Genealogy Gems, and we've talked about it on the podcast about the new AI Research Assistant. I mean, my experience with it in 2025 was that it had a way to go. It just, it's very black and white. It was just getting off the ground. And so they're saying that this year we're going to discover new insights and maybe even new ancestors in a way that has never been possible before. And I've got a video on that. I'll have a link for you in the show notes so you can go see kind of how that was running in 2025. They're still working on it, so it has not been let out of experimental labs yet, but it's out there. Also, chat with AI about your ancestors. So you can turn this one on, visit a person page in your tree and ask AI about their life records and family connections. It's kind of a nice, fun tool. They have here improved person change log. So you can more easily answer the question, what happened to my ancestor? And I haven't tried this yet. I'd be interested to know what you guys think about this. I mean, from the title, improved person change log, it kind of sounds like as edits are made to a profile, maybe you can see a log of that. So when they say what happened to my ancestor, it may not be where did they, die or where did they work, but who's been messing with them on the tree? And they give us a rundown on that. That could be what that is. If you know, put that in the comments. I'd love to hear your experience with it. And here is that AI enhanced help center searches that they were talking about. So we read about that in the blog post, and you could give that a try. And the last one here released improved merge experience, merge possible duplicates in family tree with greater confidence. And I know that's something that a lot of people have been asking for. When you're on the labs, these don't automatically boot up for you. You need to go click the try it button, and that will take you to that particular project. And you can turn off the experiment. You can turn on the experiment from there. So that's just some of the news from Family Search as far as what will be seen in 2026. I'm sure there'll be more to come, and I would love to hear what your favorite improvements, or how about this? What's your biggest wish for an improvement to see over at Family Search? Put that in the comments. Would love to read it. Thanks so much for joining me for the podcast episode number 303. You can find the show notes for this episode over at our website, genealogygems.com. Just click on podcast in the menu, click the Genealogy Gems podcast, and you'll find a link to episode 303, which will take you to our show notes page. And there you're going to find not only the complete notes of everything that we talked about today, but if you're a premium member, you also have the ability to download those as your handy PDF cheat sheet. So do take advantage of that if you're a premium member. If you're not a member yet, you have another reason to maybe want to become one. I'm hoping you'll join us for our online course. This course really is just worth the whole price of premium membership. But for the year, you also get the premium podcast and you get our premium videos as well. And these courses that are going to be coming out. I think this is such a terrific format. So easy to fit into a daily schedule. So I've got a couple of more in the works thinking about here for 2026 and beyond. So premium membership can be found on our homepage. Just click the premium membership button, or you can also find it in the menu under premium. Get more details on that. And for this episode on the show notes page, you will also find the videos. So I did a video version of our 7 mistakes as well as our Family Search update. The Family Search update hasn't been published yet as a video as of the time of this recording. But when it is published, which will be probably in the next week or so, then that video will also be added to the show notes page. So if you like what you heard, but it would be helpful to kind of see some visuals, then the videos are there for you as well. It's just so important to me to make sure that the information that we share with you here is coming to you in a way that you can take advantage of what works best for you. I know for me, I have to just see it. And the visuals stay in my memory in a way that sometimes the audio does not. And sometimes having the written word, just being able to kind of look through it, circle things, highlight things, that kind of embeds it in your brain as well. So we're really trying hard to kind of meet all of those needs. And we certainly hope that you enjoy being able to take the audio version along with you, so that you can listen to it on the go and while you're exercising and doing all those other things. Speaking of exercising, I need to get on my treadmill. It is like 5 degrees outside. So my daily walk is not going to happen today outside, which I love because it's fresh air and sunshine. I guess I'm getting that when I take the dog for her quick walks during the day, but I got to get in the treadmill. And so I'll be doing that. And I hope you have a wonderful day as well. If you have any questions or comments about things we talked about in this episode, be sure and reach out to me. Really, the best way to do that is in the comments section because I do check those every day. But you can also email me at service@genealogygems.com. All right, friends. Well, we've got a great year ahead of us. I'm really excited about it. So stay right here with Genealogy Gems. And the best way to stay in touch with me and find out what's coming down the pipeline is to sign up for our email newsletter, which you can do on our homepage, again, at genealogygems.com. Thank you so much for listening, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.